Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching In Depth
on Now You Know.
All right, so we're covering this week what's going on in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
So since the hurricane has hit, there has been massive power outages. The whole entire electrical grid on Puerto Rico has been in chaos.
Right, so this isn't just the power plants, this is the actual grid. This is how the power gets to people.
Right, the power lines, the poles, the wires.
Right.
The U.S. military just said that it would take 10 months to get the power up and completely running back on the island.
Wow.
And some estimates say that in the cities it'll take 6 months for just the city centers.
Wow, so I mean this is a long, long time to get power back for lots and lots of American citizens.
Right, now as we reported last week in our Tesla Time News, Elon was sending power walls down to Puerto Rico as soon as the hurricane had left.
Yep.
And this was so that people could start installing them. So what we found out this week in these tweets right here is that there was price gouging going on.
Yeah.
Elon was notified by some people on the island that people were being charged up to $12,000 to install these power walls, which should only cost from a few hundred to like $1,300 or so to install. And as soon as he heard about this, he said, let's put an end to this,
Right.
and let's only let certified installers who are not price gouging get these power walls.
Right.
So that, first of all, is pretty amazing.
Right. I mean, it's good that you make sure that, people who are taking advantage of a really bad situation don't get to take advantage of it.
Right. And now we learn that Elon and the Puerto Rican governor, Ricardo Rossello, have been talking on Twitter. So Ricardo Rossello said, Elon Musk, let's talk. Do you want to show the world the power and scalability of your Tesla technologies? Puerto Rico could be that flagship project. And that was sent out on October 5th. He went on to say, let's talk today. I'll be in touch. I have no doubt Tesla Solar will work with Puerto Rico to globally showcase the power of its technology.
So Elon Musk got back. He said, sounds good. I look forward to talking later today.
Then in a later tweet, Ricardo Rossello said, great initial conversation with Elon Musk tonight. Teams are now talking, exploring opportunities, next steps soon to follow. This is amazing, the speed with which things can happen when people want them to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this could really be one of Tesla's flagship projects, something that all sorts of governments around the world can look to see, oh, wow, you're able to actually put in a sustainable system in place in a remote location. And we've seen this on Kauai and lots of other islands that are bathed in sun all day. Mm-hmm. You only need a little bit of battery to get you through the night, and then it's all solar again. I think this is going to be a really amazing project if they can pull it off.
The other thing is on Puerto Rico, which mainly has to be powered by diesel generators, the cost of electricity there is very expensive, and so solar is actually a cost-effective solution.
Right. You just have solar energy pouring down from the sky. Diesel fuel has to be shipped from, places where they produce the fuel.
Because, Puerto Rico's an island. It's surrounded by water.
Right. I knew that.
Now, here's a cool thing. We just found this petition on change.org. If you go to it today, you can sign it to let people know that you would like to bring solar power to Puerto Rico. So that's just a fun thing you can do to just kind of give your thumbs up support. Now, is there any usable data to show that solar can work on Puerto Rico other than us just thinking it can work?
So there actually is. There was a 40-acre farm in Puerto Rico that is still running thanks to a $300,000 investment in solar power.
Okay.
So Hector Santiago, a horticulturalist, waters his nursery, which is powered by solar energy.
Wait a minute. So when did he do this?
So he did this 6 years ago. He spent $300,000 to install 244 solar panels.
Okay.
And this has been powering his whole farm, and also when the grid was still functional, it was providing power back to the grid. So he was selling energy back to the grid.
Wow.
And so he said, everybody told me I was crazy because it was so expensive. Now I have power and they don't.
Wow.
So, I mean, he is a flower farmer, so he farms flowers and sells them to places like Costco and other places
really?
throughout the Caribbean.
Now, was anything damaged in the storm?
Yes, so he said about 25% of his panels were damaged by flying debris. It was enough to keep the power going.
Oh, so he basically, after the storm, was able to get his power back up and running.
Right, so he doesn't have to worry about the power lines because he has these panels.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that this is a really good example. It shows that, yes, you're going to incur some damage. Yes, it is expensive to implement, but when it was running, he had zero operational costs. In fact, he was making money selling it back to the grid. And so for a lot of Puerto Ricans, you could conceivably do the exact same thing, exactly what he did. The rest of Puerto Rico is plunged into darkness the second the hurricane hits because they're completely relying on a single point failure.
He's got 19 employees and they're all able to go to work because he thought in advance of how to run his company.
Right. So I mean, it really shows the difference. I mean, what an amazing story, what an amazing example of pretty much the worst hurricane they've ever seen come through, completely destroys all infrastructure. And he is the next day able to just sort of circle the wagons, fix everything, get it back up to running, and now he has electricity and everyone else does not.
What's exciting to me also is that you can train people on the island to install solar, install batteries, and so forth. And so you can be putting people back to work installing. They're going to need a lot of manpower to get these things, up and running.
Right.
So the Puerto Rican people can actually be getting this working, as opposed to if you have to rely on like a national grid, that you'd have to just sit waiting for them to do the work.
Of course. And again, there's so much cost savings to having it be solar power because importing the diesel fuel is just super, super expensive.
And we're not even talking about the emissions. I mean, the pollution. I mean, if you're having diesel generators on your island, you're talking about polluting your island.
Right.
Solar
your
is
beautiful island.
Right.
So I think that this is awesome. I can't wait to see a fully solar Puerto Rico.
Now, for you viewers out there, please help us out. If you find stories in the mainstream press or, even the little tidbit press that you can find, send us those links to those stories. We want to be following the story, and we know that it's going to be hard to do because we don't have reporters down on the island.
Right.
Also, if you're living on Puerto Rico.
Yeah, if you're living on, talk about small press, but if you know someone who lives on Puerto Rico or you live in Puerto Rico, contact us. We would love to hear firsthand accounts of what's going on the island.
Power walls being installed, solar being installed.
And if you have a camera, we would love to, actually see some footage down there. That would be amazing. So, definitely.
Because this can ignite things all over the world.
Right.
It can show that this can be done. Up until now, the big power companies don't want you to think that this is a viable solution.
Right. And we're just talking about an island here. We're just talking about Puerto Rico. This can happen all over the place.
Yeah.
And we really want to show people all over the world in all different climes and environments and in places that are off the grid, off the beaten path, that this is totally a viable solution.
Yeah, because the cost of wind, solar, and batteries are all dropping fast. And so people thought just even 5 years ago, that's too expensive. They haven't been keeping up and watching the prices. This is a very inexpensive solution.
All right.
Thank you so much for watching this in depth. And please let us know in the comments below if you have some thoughts about our story. We'd love to hear from you.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Now you know.